I'm Dave Greenwood, and this is Overcoming Distractions. If you are an adult with ADHD, a busy professional, an entrepreneur, a high achiever, or just need some strategies to navigate your adult ADHD, you're in the right place. Who am I? I'm an entrepreneur with ADHD and the author of 2 books, Overcoming Distractions and Overcoming Burnout. I coach and mentor people just like you, and together we navigate the ups and downs of adult ADHD. From getting out of our own way to helping people just like you thrive in the workplace. That's what I do. Want more info on working with me? Hit overcomingdistractions.com. Ready? Let's get to today's podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Overcoming Distractions, and we are coming to you straight from the plush and luxurious studios of Overcoming Distractions, right? Yeah, if you believe that. So, no, the settings are comfy, but we are not on the 50th floor of the high rise, just to let you know. So we're just average people over here, trying to do some good stuff. So, hey, I'm going to talk about control again because, in my opinion, being in control of your day is crucial if you are that busy professional with ADHD. You're a high achiever, you're in a demanding career, you got a bunch of other things going on, such as kids and other busy things going on in your life. And if you have listened to me for any length of time, you know that control is one of my favorite words, not in a negative or overbearing way. It's just the way we need to live. And I'm going to explain the benefits of why we need to think like this in just a moment. But, we can't operate in response mode and thrive and be fulfilled as an adult with ADHD. And we must control what we can when we have ADHD. And I can tell you, and I know this may be tough for some of you, and quite frankly, maybe you've tried it, and we should do other episodes on this. But if you just slow down a little bit, hit the pause button, and if you started to look at the things that are challenging you or frustrating you, or even leading you towards burnout, and I know a lot of you out there are feeling that way, I know you can find a way to control some aspects of those things that are challenging you. Controlling aspects of our lives, such as our schedules, our meetings, to-do lists, prioritizing, projects and other things, such as taking care of our family and other commitments. It does take some thought and strategy and some methodical thinking, but I know, and this is where we really kind of dig in when I'm working with some of you one-on-one, is that we strategize about some of the things that we can get control of. And we ask those questions, and we go through our week and our commitments and everything else. Now, I will say in many cases it takes putting our foot down a little bit, maybe even sticking up for ourselves in the workplace, diplomatically, I will say. And sometimes we just need to tell ourselves that we're just not going to respond to everything anymore. We talked about in my book, Overcoming Burnout, about stop, drop, and roll. And I think a lot of us, and I was that way too, where we're just guilty of somebody walks by our office or somebody pings us on whatever platform we're using, and we stop everything we're doing and we take care of their needs first. But this is where we need to begin the process of getting back control over our professional lives, and even some things in our personal lives. And we need to make these things work in our favor to the best of our ability. So, why should you, as a busy adult with ADHD, start to develop a control mindset? I'm going to go through 8 reasons right now as to why you need to consider starting to take back control of certain aspects of your life. So number 1 is maximizing productivity. This should be kind of a big duh, but I'm just going to hit this one head on, right? I mean, controlling your day allows you to prioritize tasks, focus on what's most important, avoid wasting time on less critical activities. And I know I talked to a lot of you where, you could be doing more kind of, high level activities if you weren't dealing with some of the smaller stuff, right? But this does lead to higher and, I think, more fulfilling productivity and even a more efficient use of your time. And remember, productivity isn't getting 50 things done in one day. It could be getting 3 things done with more quality and less mistakes. As far as I'm concerned, that's a massive win in my book. For example, if you have 20 projects you're responsible for and you even got a ton of work done on one of those projects, again, that's a win. Take the win. But you need some level of control over your days to achieve that. And I believe control equals productivity, whether it's one killer big project or a bunch of emails or phone calls you need to make. So, control also will help you reduce your stress. And when you're in control of your schedule and other commitments, you can better manage your workload and your deadlines. This reduces the likelihood of, feeling overwhelmed. And I think it helps in maintaining that kind of balanced state of mind, so to speak. If you're responding to meeting requests and other commitments of time from other people, that's not only going to stress you out, but you're going to even get resentful. And that's where you start to enter that burnout stage. And I don't want you to get into that mode if at all possible. And I think when we are in control to the extent possible, we lower our stress. We can't control everything, such as the case of a client or maybe a supervisor needing something super urgent. And we got to kind of distinguish that on the fly, whether you're going to respond or not. But controlling what you can, and I emphasize that, what you can, is going to lower your stress. Because again, there are things you just can't control. Maybe the CEO's mindset or what have you, or their work habits. But there are things you can control. Next, when you maintain a level of control over you and your surroundings and your schedule and everything else, you're more able to meet goals and deadlines. And I think high achievers and us busy people with ADHD, we sometimes have ambitious goals. But being in control of your day, I think, goes a long way in ensuring that you allocate that necessary time and those resources to meet those goals and deadlines without that age-old problem of that last-minute rush. And I know a lot of you say, well, I work better on deadline. I'm going to push back on that. So I think controlling what you work on is important to meeting your goals and your deadlines. And as I just mentioned, minimizing maybe what you work on and focusing on the priorities. They're going to allow you to meet your goals and deadlines more consistently. And again, rather than maybe working on 20 projects and never finishing, you can have control of what you actually do work on. And that can be 1 or 3 things. So, I think improving your decision making, I think a lot of us do have some challenges with that. And when you have control over your time, I do think you can make better decisions on how to allocate it. This helps, avoid those impulsive choices that a lot of us have. And I think it kind of ensures that you're, what you're working on, that aligns with your kind of long-term objectives. And this is why I love time blocking, and doing it ahead of time. I know we've talked about this before. I'll talk about it again, because when you actually get good at it, you'll realize that it is a massive habit that you need to implement. But it tells you what you need to work on. And as long as we keep our word to ourselves, then we've actually made that decision of what we're going to work on. And it limits that decision fatigue. But again, we have to be in control. Next, work-life balance. And I really wish there was a better way to say this. I'm sure there is. I'm going to actually Google it. But you get the point. I mean, let's call it balance between our personal and professional lives. All right, let's start there and kind of changing that overused term. But I think managing your day effectively. You can allocate that time for your personal life, your self-care, going to the gym, taking a walk, hanging out with your family and kids, and it actually does go a long way in preventing burnout, or mitigating it, and it can go a long way in making sure that you maintain some type of healthy balance. So many people I've talked to are not in control of their workload and their meetings and etc. And then they end up working till midnight, and this is just not sustainable. And I know you know this. So it's going to help you create more of a balance if you're more in control over your weeks and your days and your commitments and priorities. Next, our age-old challenge of focus and concentration. And I think when you structure your day and your week and you're in control of it, that allows you to dedicate more uninterrupted time to maybe complex tasks, deeper work, longer projects. It enhances your ability to concentrate, produce high-quality work. Now, I'm not saying this is perfect. Like, nothing is perfect when it comes to working in the real world. And we need to tame our internal and external distractions, right? So we can block out an entire day, but if we get hooked on YouTube, we're smoked, right? So that's something we need to work on. But at least if you set the tone by, controlling how you structure your days and your weeks, you'll have more control over your schedule, and you'll be better prepared to be more focused. And I call that flow, getting in the zone, but without some level of control, that is not going to happen. So, next, consistency. A little bit of self-discipline, right? When you regularly control your day, it helps, slowly build those habits of consistency and discipline, which I think are essential for long-term success if you're in like a busy or demanding career. A lot of people that I've worked one-on-one with, they say, I want some cadence to my week instead of just like chaos, right? So, but when you have that level, when you develop that mindset control, I think over time it becomes our default to some extent. It doesn't happen overnight. You're not going to change the way you work in one day. But we need to understand our ADHD. And part of that is knowing that we have to control certain aspects of our life. And we have talked over and over again about owning our ADHD. And part of owning your ADHD is owning what you control. And I think lastly, I think you have more of a muscle to adapt to change. When you have control over your day, you're better equipped to adapt to that unexpected blips or changes or challenges or demands. This flexibility, now I talk about control, but also the reality of being a human in a busy professional life is some flexibility, and it's crucial for kind of maintaining and staying on track despite some of those disruptions. Now, I've had numerous times over the years where I wasn't thinking about being in control, and then something happened, and that took me away from my work. So maybe I got sick. Maybe I had a family matter that required my attention, and now I have a problem because, quite frankly, I goofed off because I didn't have control. And I think the more you control, the more you can adapt. And that may be opening up a whole procrastination conversation. And we'll continue to chat about that. So those are the 8 things. Those are the 8 benefits of saying, you know what? I'm an adult with ADHD. I'm not going to live in response mode anymore. I'm going to control what I can in my personal and professional life. And remember one thing as we wrap up: control is not a negative. It just has to be a way of life for us. So if you would like to sort out what you can and cannot control, you're in a busy situation, you're challenged with work, maybe you're working in a chaotic or even toxic work environment at the moment, and you need to kind of problem solve with somebody, I would love the chance to do that. Just hit overcomingdistractions.com, and right on the homepage there's that little button that says book a 15-minute chat with me. See if we are a good fit, and I would love to help you solve some problems and figure out how you can begin to take back control of your ADHD world. All right, gang, as I always say, I'll catch you next time.